Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Official permission or approval. The act of conferring legality or sanction or formal warrant. A document giving an official instruction or command. The power or right to give orders or make decisions. Deputies are given authorization to make arrests. Official permission or approval. The act of conferring legality or sanction or formal warrant. A document giving an official instruction or command. The power or right to give orders or make decisions. Official permission or approval. Authority for the program was renewed several times. An administrative unit of government. Freedom from doubt. Belief in yourself and your abilities. She spoke with authority. The power or right to give orders or make decisions. He has the authority to issue warrants. An authoritative written work. This book is the final authority on the life of Milton. An expert whose views are taken as definitive. He is an authority on corporate law. Usually plural, persons who exercise administrative control over others. Official permission or approval. Give sanction to. Formal and explicit approval. A mechanism of social control for enforcing a society's standards. Give authority or permission to. Give religious sanction to, such as through on oath. The act of final authorization. It had the sanction of the Church. The act of conferring legality or sanction or formal warrant. A territory surrendered by Turkey or Germany after World War I and put under the tutelage of some other European power until they are able to stand by themselves. A document giving an official instruction or command. Assign authority to. Assign under a mandate. Mandate a colony. Make mandatory. The new director of the school board mandated regular tests. The commission that is given to a government and its policies through an electoral victory. The state that exists when one person or group has power over another. Her apparent dominance of her husband was really her attempt to make him pay attention to her. Superior development of one side of the body. The power or right to give orders or make decisions. The organic phenomenon in which one of a pair of alleles present in a genotype is expressed in the phenotype and the other allele of the pair is not. The state of being potent. A male's capacity to have sexual intercourse. The inherent capacity for coming into being. The power or right to give orders or make decisions. A place of potency in the state. Capacity to produce strong physiological or chemical effects. The toxin's potency. An authoritative declaration. The power or right to give orders or make decisions. One chap's arbitrary assertion. The act of giving a formal, usually written, authorization. Approval to do something. He asked permission to leave. The act of setting and holding a course. A new council was installed under the direction of the king. The concentration of attention or energy on something. He had no direction in his life. The act of managing something. Is the direction of the economy a function of government? A line leading to a place or point. He looked the other direction. A formal statement of a command or injunction to do something. Something that provides direction or advice as to a decision or course of action. A message describing how something is to be done. He gave directions faster than she could follow them. A general course along which something has a tendency to develop. I couldn't follow the direction of his thoughts. The spatial relation between something and the course along which it points or moves. He checked the direction and velocity of the wind. The act of managing something. He was given overall management of the program. Those in charge of running a business. Write an instrumental score for any of various devices or contrivances that can be used to produce musical tones or sounds. The means whereby some act is accomplished. My greed was the instrument of my destruction. A person used by another to gain an end. Law. A document that states some contractual relationship or grants some right. The semantic role of the entity, usually inanimate, that the agent uses to perform an action or start a process. Address a legal document to. A device that requires skill for proper use. Equipped with instruments for measuring, recording, or controlling. Law. A document that states some contractual relationship or grants some right. Law. A document that states some contractual relationship or grants some right. Law. A document that states some contractual relationship or grants some right. Handle and cause to function. Control the lever. Exercise authoritative control or power over. Control the budget. Lessen the intensity of. Temper. Hold in restraint. Hold or keep within limits. Control your anger. A standard against which other conditions can be compared in a scientific experiment. The control condition was inappropriate for the conclusions he wished to draw. Place under restrictions. Limit access to by law. This substance is controlled. Discipline in personal and social activities. She never lost control of herself. Be careful or certain to do something. Make certain of something. Control the quality of the product. Maintain influence over others or oneself, skillfully, usually to one's advantage. She is a very controlling mother and doesn't let her children grow up. The state that exists when one person or group has power over another. Check or regulate a scientific experiment by conducting a parallel experiment or comparing with another standard. Are you controlling for the temperature? Great skillfulness and knowledge of some subject or activity. A mechanism that controls the operation of a machine. The speed controller on his turntable was not working properly. Have a firm understanding or knowledge of. Be on top of. Do you control these data? A relation of constraint of one entity, thing or person or group, by another. Measures for the control of disease. A spiritual agency that is assumed to assist the medium during a séance. Physiology. Regulation or maintenance of a function or action or reflex, etc. The timing and control of his movements were unimpaired. Power to direct or determine. Under control. The activity of managing or exerting control over something. The control of the mob by the police was admirable. The economic policy of controlling or limiting or curbing prices or wages, etc. They wanted to repeal all the legislation that imposed economic controls. Verify by using a duplicate register for comparison. Control an account. Formal authorization to get a loan, usually from a bank. Confirmation that some fact or statement is true through the use of documentary evidence. A document attesting to the truth of certain stated facts. Validating the authenticity of something or someone. The act of certifying or bestowing a franchise on. A group of representatives or delegates. An official document issued by a government and conferring on the recipient the rank of an officer in the armed forces. A special group delegated to consider some matter. The act of granting authority to undertake certain functions. The act of committing a crime. A special assignment that is given to a person or group. A formal statement of a command or injunction to do something. A fee for services rendered based on a percentage of an amount received or collected or agreed to be paid, as distinguished from a salary. He works on commission. Charge with a task. Place an order for. Put into commission. Equip for service, of ships. The state of being in good working order and ready for operation. Put the ships into commission. The act of granting authority to undertake certain functions. Authorizing subordinates to make certain decisions. A group of representatives or delegates. Authorizing subordinates to make certain decisions. A group of representatives or delegates. Authorizing subordinates to make certain decisions. A statutory right or privilege granted to a person or group by a government, especially the rights of citizenship and the right to vote. The act of certifying or bestowing a franchise on. Freedom from political subjugation or servitude. Excessive freedom. Lack of due restraint. When liberty becomes licensed dictatorship is near. Freedom to deviate deliberately from normally applicable rules or practices, especially in behavior or speech. The act of giving a formal, usually written, authorization. A legal document giving official permission to do something. Authorize officially. I am licensed to practice law in this state. Make it possible through a specific action or lack of action for something to happen. This permits the water to rush in. Allow the presence of or allow an activity, without opposing or prohibiting. Children are not permitted beyond this point. Consent to, give permission. She permitted her son to visit her estranged husband. The act of giving a formal, usually written, authorization. Large game fish, found in waters of the West Indies. A legal document giving official permission to do something. Authorizing subordinates to make certain decisions. Authorizing subordinates to make certain decisions. Mild banishment. Consignment to an inferior position. The act of assigning someone or something to a particular class or category. A stamp, usually made of rubber, for imprinting a mark or design by hand. Routine authorization of an action without questions. Possessing muscular strength. One of the contractile organs of the body. A bully employed as a thug or bodyguard. The drug lord had his muscle man to protect him. Animal tissue consisting predominantly of contractile cells. Authority or power or force, especially when used in a coercive way. The senators used their muscle to get the party leader to resign. Make one's way by force. He muscled his way into the office.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.